Our planet hides spots that look too unreal to be true. Places shaped by millions of years of ice rock and pressure into forms that challenge everything we think we know about Earth. Jagged ridges that slice the sky, colors that don't belong, and views that stop you in your tracks. These are the impossible corners of our world landscape, so strange they make scientists rethink the rules of geology. Welcome to the impossible world. A journey into the strangest places on our planet, where reality pushes beyond imagination and nature proves it still holds secrets that feel unreal. If you love discovering hidden wonders, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. Drop a comment below. What's the strangest place you've ever seen in real life? Let's talk about it. We start right now in a narrow gap carved through towering limestone spires that looks like nature built a window to another world. High in the Alpstein Mountains of eastern Switzerland lies Saxer Lucke, a dramatic mountain pass at over 5,400 feet elevation. Jagged saw-toothed rock spires rise sharply along the ridgeline, creating an otherworldly geological fault line that feels impossibly carved. The viewpoint suddenly reveals the turquoise Felensee Lake far below, framed by sheer cliffs and misty peaks. Ancient rock formations showcase layered strata and faults from millions of years of tectonic pressure. This spot blends accessible trails with raw alpine drama, where spiky peaks contrast lush meadows and distant valleys. The landscape appears almost sculpted by fantasy, yet stems from real geological wonders of the Alpstein Range. Bollenstreek, Netherlands. What if fields that explode into color each spring, turning farmland into living rainbows? Bollenstreek means bulb region in Dutch is a coastal strip in the west of the country between the cities of Haarlem and Leiden. Rows of tulips, hyacinths, and daffodils stretch across flat landscapes in intense stripes of red, yellow, pink, and purple. The organized patterns create an almost surreal, painterly effect against the simple Dutch countryside. Though the tulip arrived from Turkey in the 16th century, Bollenstreek is where it became a major crop and a Dutch national symbol. In the 17th century, tulips grown in this region triggered the first economic bubble in history known as tulip mania. Today, these fields supply the world with bulbs. Karijini National Park, Australia. Deep in Western Australia's Pilbara region, Karijini National Park reveals some of Earth's oldest rocks, over 2.5 billion years in age. Rust-red banded iron formations plunge into sheer gorges up to 328 feet deep, carved by ancient rivers. Layered strata fold and swirl from immense tectonic forces, exposing oxidized iron that glows vividly in sunlight. Crystal-clear pools and seasonal waterfalls hide at the base, surrounded by vertical canyon walls. Adventurers descend narrow slot canyons to swim in emerald waters amid ferns and white-barked gums. The stark contrast of arid plateaus above and lush oases below creates an impossible hidden world. This ancient landscape feels timeless, where geology and isolation combine into dramatic isolation. Mae Ya Waterfall, Thailand. How does water sculpt a curtain taller than a 30-story building? Mae Ya Waterfall is over 260 meters in height and spans up to 100 meters wide, forming dozens of stepped levels in a massive rock face. Water tumbles like a shimmering curtain through lush forest, creating misty veils in the humid air. Smooth rock layers guide the flow into a broad triangular shape, unlike narrow single-drop falls. The sheer scale and layered descent make it appear almost engineered, yet purely natural. Seasonal high volume turns it into a powerful display framed by dense tropical vegetation. Do you want to enjoy the cool water at this giant, multi-tiered waterfall? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every one. Let's talk about your dream spot. Dashbashi Canyon, Georgia. Dashbashi Canyon was carved by the Krami River through the volcanic plateau shaped over 5 million years by water and volcanic activity. The gorge is mostly made of volcanic rock and basalt flows with steep walls that reveal layers of stone from the region's fiery past. The canyon's rugged walls and river below create a microclimate with unique flora and fauna. A striking 787-foot-long glass bridge spans the chasm at nearly 900 feet above the floor. At its center hangs a diamond-shaped transparent restaurant, offering vertigo-inducing views downward. This blend of natural depth and bold engineering makes the site feel impossibly daring and otherworldly. Mutnovsky volcano, Russia. In Russia's remote Kamchatka Peninsula stands Mutnovsky volcano, a complex massif rising to over 7,600 feet. Its overlapping craters form a figure-8 shape up to 2 miles across and 2,000 feet deep, filled with glaciers and active fumaroles. Steaming vents release gases at temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And sulfur deposits create bright yellow encrustations around boiling mud pots. This stark contrast of ice and fire glaciers and fumaroles produces an otherworldly scene that feels defying natural laws. The volcano's ongoing activity and isolation amplify its sense of an alien hostile landscape on Earth. Lake Lungern, Switzerland. The combination of intense color, mirror-like reflections, and dramatic enclosure makes the scene feel strangely idealized. Nestled in the Swiss Alps at an elevation of about 2,260 feet lies Lake Lungern, a narrow body of water stretching roughly 1.2 miles long. Its striking turquoise hue results from glacial minerals suspended in the clear water, shifting shades under sunlight. The lake reaches a maximum depth of 223 feet, with calm surfaces that perfectly mirror surrounding mountains and ski nearby villages add touches of traditional Swiss charm. This spot offers quiet reflection amid Switzerland's timeless alpine beauty. Abano Pass, Georgia. Would you dare drive a road that climbs into the sky, full of risks and new discoveries? Abano Pass reaches 9,272 feet in the Caucasus Mountains, linking the Kakheti region to the remote Tusheti area. This high route connects isolated communities and wild landscapes. The unpaved route twists through steep drops and tight turns, and no guardrails line the path along deep gorges. Panoramic views reveal rugged ridges, deep valleys, and distant peaks from the exposed summit. Four-by-four vehicles crawl along the narrow path, where one wrong move risks plunging into the abyss below. The pass feels impossibly precarious, earning its reputation as one of Europe's most dangerous roads. Katmai National Park, USA. A century-old eruption reshaped a wilderness that now teems with life. Katmai National Park covers over 4 million acres in southwest Alaska. The 1912 Novarupta blast created the Valley of 10,000 Smokes. Ash flows buried the valley up to 700 feet deep. "15 active volcanoes rise across the park, including Mount Katmai's caldera, filled with a turquoise crater lake. This fusion of recent cataclysmic geology and thriving wildlife creates a strangely resilient wilderness. Today, over 2,200 brown bears roam freely. They gather at Brooks Falls to catch salmon each summer. You can observe bears from elevated platforms as they catch fish amid misty volcanic terrain. Val d'Orcia, Italy. How did Renaissance ideals shape a valley into living art? Val d'Orcia stretches across southern Tuscany near Siena. UNESCO named it a World Heritage Landscape in 2004. Rolling chalk plains rise into conical hills topped by villages. Rows of cypress trees line roads and frame farmhouses. Fields grow grains, olives, vines, and sunflowers in patterns. The area reflects planned beauty from the 14th and 15th centuries, with medieval towns perched on summits like Pienza and Montalcino. This perfectly balanced rural scene feels strangely timeless, as if frozen in an idealized vision of the Italian countryside. Pongour Waterfall, Vietnam. South of Dalat, in Vietnam's central highlands, lies Pongour Waterfall. Locals call it the seven-story waterfall for its stepped descent. It drops about 131 feet from the Da Nhiem River and spreads across a width of over 328 feet. Water cascades over 7 successive rocky terraces, creating layered falls that roar into a large pool below. The multi-tiered structure and immense width produce a powerful sonorous display, audible from miles away. King Bao Dai once declared it the finest waterfall in southern Vietnam. Locals hold an annual festival on the 15th day of the first lunar month, featuring traditional games and rituals. Martvili Canyon, Georgia. In western Georgia's Samegrelo region, Martvili Canyon carves through limestone along the Abasha River for about 1.5 miles. The narrow gorge reaches depths of 82 to 98 feet and widths of 16 to 33 feet in places. Turquoise waters flow crystal clear between moss-covered cliffs. Small waterfalls and vine-draped walls create a lush, enclosed paradise. Evergreen Colchis boxwood forests thrive in the humid microclimate. A wooden path with stairs and platforms guides visitors along the rim. Short boat rides explore deeper sections in calm waters. This serene canyon offers a peaceful escape into nature's sculpted artistry. Drakensberg, South Africa, Lesotho. How do ancient basalt cliffs guard the roof of southern Africa? It stretches over 600 miles, with Abano peaks at 11,424 feet, the highest point in southern Africa. Steep basalt faces rise sharply from sandstone valleys below, earning the Zulu name Barrier of Spears. Deep valleys and eroded basalt create rugged terrain, ideal for hiking and climbing. The Drakensberg isn't a typical big game reserve, but it's home to about 80 mammal species. Many, like bearded vultures and eland, are adapted to its rugged alpine environment. Bodie Ghost Town, USA. Bodie is a ghost town preserved in arrested decay and sits at 8,379 feet in California's Mono County. Gold discoveries in 1876 turned a small camp into a bustling town. By 1879, it housed nearly 10,000 people and over 2,000 buildings. Today, about 110 structures remain in arrested decay. Abandoned homes, stores, and a stamp mill preserve the era's relics. Fires in 1892 and 1932 reduced much of the town to ruins, rusting machinery, and personal items lie untouched inside buildings. This preserved ghost town tells a raw story of fleeting frontier fortune. The site became a National Historic Landmark in 1961. Skogafoss Waterfall, Iceland. On Iceland's south coast, Skogafoss plunges 200 feet from the Skoga River in a single powerful drop. It spans about 82 feet wide in a near-perfect rectangular shape. Constant raw mossy cliffs and green slopes make the scene feel dynamically alive. Spray from the waterfall drenches visitors near its base, and on sunny days, it creates bright rainbows. A staircase of nearly 500 steps leads to a platform overlooking the falls and toward the Atlantic. Legend says Viking settler Thrasi Thorolfsson buried gold behind it. Mount Ararat, Turkey. Do you know what ancient peak still holds the promise of renewal after a worldwide deluge? Mount Ararat stands as a dormant compound volcano in eastern Turkey, near the borders with Armenia and Iran. Greater Ararat reaches 16,854 feet, making it Turkey's highest summit. Little Ararat rises to 12,782 feet beside it. Snow caps the twin cones year-round above roughly 14,000 feet. Biblical tradition identifies it as the landing place of Noah's Ark after the Great Flood, drawing pilgrims and explorers for centuries. This link gives the peak deep religious meaning for Christians, Armenians, and others. Local Kurdish communities graze sheep on mid-level pastures. Ararat symbolizes rebirth, endurance, and sacred history in a stark volcanic landscape. Fjadragjufur Canyon, Iceland. Formed through progressive erosion of ancient bedrock, the canyon's winding shape creates an enclosed, almost labyrinthine world. It stretches roughly 1.2 miles long and plunges to depths of 328 feet in places. Sheer walls of palagonite rock twist and curve, covered in thick green moss, that thrives in the humid microclimate. Palagonite bedrock formed around 2 million years ago during Ice Age cold periods. Glacial meltwater eroded the canyon roughly 9,000 years ago. The Fiadra River winds sinuously along the canyon floor, contrasting the dramatic vertical drops. A short trail offers rim viewpoints of the twisting path below. This fragile wonder reveals Iceland's power of slow, relentless erosion. Lake Atitlan, Guatemala. This is a volcanic caldera lake formed around 84,000 years ago and reaching depths of about 1,120 feet. It sits at an elevation of roughly 5,125 feet, surrounded by 3 prominent volcanoes, Atitlan Toliman and San Pedro. Deep blue waters reflect the conical peaks, creating intense visual symmetry across 50 square miles of surface. No natural outlet exists, and its enclosed basin sustains unique microclimates and ecosystems. Indigenous Maya communities, including Kakchikul and Sutujil peoples, inhabit lakeside villages. The lake holds sacred significance in Mayan cosmology as a spiritual center tied to ancient beliefs. They preserve traditional weaving farming and spiritual practices tied to the water. Goblin Valley State Park, USA. Goblin Valley is home to thousands of hoodoos, known locally as goblins. The park preserves one of the world's largest concentrations of such erosional features. These formations eroded from Entrada sandstone, deposited about 170 million years ago, rise several yards to over 200 feet in height. Three connected valleys span about 3 square miles, filled with dense clusters of these bizarre formations. Wind and water have sculpted varied shapes, resembling mythical creatures amid flat surrounding desert. This eerie landscape feels like a petrified alien landscape carved from ancient sediments. Jellyfish Lake, Palau. Can a hidden marine lake turn jellyfish into gentle companions in a sunlit dance? Jellyfish Lake rests on Isle Mulk Island in Palau's Rock Islands, connects to the sea through underground channels, yet remains isolated. Millions of golden jellyfish, called Mastigias papua et pisoni, filled its waters. Moon jellyfish also inhabit the lake in smaller numbers. They migrate daily across the lake, following sunlight for their symbiotic algae. The lake averages 100 feet deep, with a stratified anoxic layer below about 50 feet. Snorkelers float among harmless jellyfish in the upper oxygenated zone. Strict rules protect this fragile ecosystem from invasive species and overuse. Plain of Jars, Laos. What ancient civilization carved thousands of massive stone vessels and scattered them across a remote plateau, the Plain of Jars? In Laos, remains one of Southeast Asia's greatest enigmas. Over 2,000 megalithic jars dot the Xiangquang Plateau, hewn from solid rock between roughly 500 BCE and 500 CE. These cylinders range from 3 to 10 feet in height and weigh up to 14 tons. Archaeologists believe they served as funerary urns for secondary burials, holding bones after decomposition. Local legends speak of giants using them to brew rice wine after epic battles. The site's cultural layers include Iron Age rituals and tragic modern history from heavy wartime bombing. If drifting among millions of glowing, stingless jellyfish in a hidden lake sounds like your kind of magic, subscribe now and never miss another impossible destination. Huka Falls, New Zealand. Huka Falls on New Zealand's Waikato River draws millions with its dramatic spectacle. The water rushes through a chasm only 50 feet wide, channeling an average flow of over 5,600 cubic feet per second. It plunges about 35 feet in a roaring cascade, creating foaming white rapids and misty rainbows. The fall's height varies from 23 to 31 feet, depending on upstream control gates for hydroelectric power. This natural force highlights the river's journey from Lake Taupo, feeding one of the world's highest volume waterfalls. Nearby jet boat rides let thrill seekers feel the thunder up close. Crater Lake National Park, Oregon, USA. How does a volcano's violent collapse birth the deepest, purest lake in the United States? Crater Lake National Park in Oregon formed when Mount Mazama erupted and caved in about 7,700 years ago. The lake reaches a maximum depth of 1,949 feet. Its surface sits at 6,178 feet elevation, surrounded by a rim rising up to 2,000 feet above the water. No rivers feed the lake. It forms purely from rain and snow within the enclosed basin. exceptional clarity allows visibility to depths of over 100 feet on clear days, yielding an intense sapphire blue. Wizard Island, a volcanic cinder cone, rises from the center with its own small crater. This isolated, vividly colored basin evokes an impossibly pure volcanic lake high in the mountains. Darvaza gas crater, Turkmenistan. The Darvaza gas crater, known as the door to hell, a fiery pit burning continuously since 1971. The collapse measures about 226 feet in diameter and 98 feet deep, ignited after Soviet engineers drilled into a natural gas cavern. Thousands of flames dance across the floor and rim fueled by ongoing methane seepage. The crater's glow lights the night sky, visible for miles across the barren sand. Walls and edges remain scorched, while the interior roils with perpetual fire. Originally lit to burn off escaping gas safely, it has endured over 5 decades. This man-made inferno in the desert creates an otherworldly, hellish scene of endless combustion. Jeju Island, South Korea. Jeju Island, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, showcases dramatic geology from eruptions spanning millions of years. Mount Halala, Korea's tallest peak at 6,398 feet, crowns the island with a crater lake and diverse trails. Over 360 parasitic cones rise like ancient sentinels across the landscape. The Geomunorium lava tube system features stunning multicolored caves formed by flowing basalt. Seongsan Il Chulbonga Tuff Cone rising from the sea offers sunrise views over layered cliffs. Jeju blends ecological richness with cultural heritage from unique Haenyeo divers to endemic species. Fagradalsfjall Volcano, Iceland. Fagradalsfjall reminds us how Earth's restless interior can reshape familiar terrain overnight. Fagradalsfjall on the Reykjanes Peninsula erupted dramatically in March 2021, ending about 6,000 years of quiet. This shield volcano, with its highest point, around 1,263 feet, unleashed lava fountains and flows in Geltingau, Adalur Valley. Subsequent eruptions in 2022 and 2023 added fresh layers of black basalt across the landscape. The fiery displays drew thousands of hikers to witness glowing rivers of molten rock under dramatic skies. Scientists monitor the site closely as it reveals ongoing tectonic activity along the mid-Atlantic ridge. Yonaguni Monument, Japan. The Yonaguni Monument, discovered by divers in 1986, features massive angular rock formations submerged about 85 feet deep. This sandstone and mudstone structure measures roughly 165 feet long, 65 feet wide, and up to 85 feet high in places. Sharp steps, terraces, and straight edges spark debate between natural erosion and human craftsmanship from over 10,000 years ago. Some researchers propose ties to ancient civilizations lost to rising seas after the Ice Age. Others attribute the geometry to fractured sandstone layers shaped by currents and tectonics. This underwater enigma challenges our understanding of geology versus archaeology. Kakadu National Park, Australia. For over 65,000 years, one ancient culture has woven its stories into a vast tropical wilderness. What enduring legacy survives today? Kakadu National Park in Australia's Northern Territory spans nearly 7,646 square miles of diverse ecosystems. Aboriginal traditional owners, the Bininj and Mungi peoples, maintain deep spiritual connections to the land. Thousands of rock art sites depict dreamtime narratives, animals, and daily life across millennia. Floodplains, mangroves, savanna, woodlands, and the Arnhem Land escarpment create rich habitats. The park shelters over 2,000 plant species, 280 bird varieties, and unique wildlife like saltwater crocodiles and wallabies. The Wave, USA. The Wave is a striking sandstone formation in Coyote Butte's north. This striking sandstone formation features intersecting U-shaped troughs eroded from Jurassic Navajo sandstone. One major trough measures about 118 feet long and 62 feet wide with vibrant striped layers. Access requires a strenuous 6.4-mile round-trip hike across unmarked terrain and a competitive permit lottery. Limited daily visitors preserve the fragile beauty of these undulating rock waves. Vivid color bands and wave-like curves create a surreal, almost liquid-frozen spectacle, captivating photographers worldwide. Moraki Boulders, New Zealand. The Moraki boulders rest on Kokohi Beach like giant stone eggs along a windswept shore. These concretions formed 55 to 60 million years ago in Paleocene seafloor mudstone. Larger examples reach over 6.6 feet in diameter and weigh several tons. Minerals cemented around shells and plant fragments, growing slowly over 4 to 5.5 million years. Coastal erosion exhumes them from cliffs, revealing cracked surfaces with calcite-filled septaria. Local Maori legends describe them as gourds washed ashore from a wrecked canoe. Today, the boulders create a surreal scene, at low tide blending science and myth. Mount Vesuvius, Italy. Mount Vesuvius towers over the Bay of Naples at 4,203 feet. Its most infamous eruption in 79 AD buried Pompeii and Herculaneum under layers of ash and pumice up to 20 feet deep. A massive column of ash reached 21 miles high during the Plinian event. Pyroclastic flows race down the slopes, claiming thousands of lives in hours. The volcano has erupted over 50 times since, with the last major activity in 1944. Today, fertile volcanic soil supports vineyards on its lower flanks. Vesuvius serves as a living reminder of nature's sudden power and humanity's fragile coexistence with it. Tsingy de Bemaraha, Madagascar. Tsingy de Bemaraha Strict Nature Reserve features vast karst limestone formations rising up to 328 feet. These needle-like pinnacles formed over millions of years from Jurassic lagoon sediments uplifted by tectonics. Rainwater dissolved softer rock, leaving jagged peaks and deep crevasses across 375,600 acres. The name Tsingy means where one cannot walk barefoot in Malagasy. Unique dry forests and canyons shelter endemic lemurs, birds and plants. UNESCO protects this site for its rare geology and biodiversity. Ollantaytambo, Peru. What if an Inca stronghold still stands as a living testament to masterful engineering and resistance against invaders? Ollantaytambo sits in Peru's Sacred Valley at 9,160 feet above sea level. This royal estate of Emperor Pachacuti includes massive pink granite terraces and a fortified temple complex. Inca builders aligned structures with astronomical events and channeled water through precise stone channels. In 1537, Manco Inca defeated Spanish forces here by flooding the valley. The site's grid layout and agricultural terraces create microclimates for diverse crops. Big Island, USA. Hawaii's Big Island hosts active giants like Kilauea and Mauna Loa. Mauna Loa, the planet's largest volcano by volume, rises 13,679 feet above sea level. Mauna Kea reaches 13,803 feet, but towers over 33,500 feet from its ocean base. Shield volcanoes produce fluid lava flows that build broad slopes. Diverse ecosystems range from tropical rainforests to alpine deserts and snow-capped peaks. Ongoing eruptions reshape the landscape and create new land. The island reveals the Hawaiian hotspot's power in constant creation. Rainbow Mountain, Peru. Deep in the Andes, how do ancient sediments paint a mountain in vivid stripes of color that seem almost too perfect to be natural? Rainbow Mountain, or Vinicunca, stands at about 17,060 feet above sea level. Mineral-rich layers of sandstone create bands of red, yellow, green, turquoise, and purple. Tectonic uplift and erosion exposed these deposits from different geological periods. Glaciers once covered the peak, but warming revealed the full spectrum. Local Quechua communities hold cultural ties to the sacred landscape. This geological canvas draws visitors to witness Earth's vibrant history. Yet the site's high altitude demands acclimatization for the strenuous hike. Butuan, China. Butuan, a former fishing village on Shengshan Island in China's Shaanxi archipelago, lies about 40 miles east of Shanghai. Founded in the 1950s, it housed over 2,000 residents in more than 500 homes during its peak. By the 1990s, isolation, limited jobs, and better mainland opportunities drove most families away. The last residents departed around 2002, leaving structures empty. Dense ivy vines and lush greenery now blanket buildings, walls, and paths in vivid emerald layers. A few locals occasionally return to sell water to visitors, exploring the overgrown streets. Butuan shows nature's quiet power to transform human absence into a haunting, verdant rebirth. Vardzia, Georgia. Carved deep into a mountainside cliff, how did medieval engineers create a hidden fortress monastery that sheltered thousands through centuries of conflict? Vardzia Cave Monastery rises along the Kura River in southern Georgia's Erosheti Mountain. Built mainly in the late 12th century under Queen Tamar, it served as a fortified religious and military center. The complex stretches about 1,640 feet along the cliff face and reaches up to 19 tiers high. Over 500 rooms include churches' living quarters, wine cellars, and tunnels carved into soft rock at elevations around 4,300 feet. The central church of the Dormition preserves original frescoes from the era. A water system and secret passages protected inhabitants during invasions. Vardzia endures as a remarkable blend of faith defense and ingenious rock-cut architecture. Taal Volcano, Philippines. This is one of the world's smallest active volcanoes, but one of its most hazardous. Taal Volcano sits on Volcano Island within Taal Lake, about 31 miles south of Manila. The main crater lake fills a depression on this 3-mile-wide island, with the volcano's summit at 1,020 feet. The larger Taal caldera spans 16 to 19 miles across, formed by massive prehistoric eruptions. Frequent phreatomagmatic blasts mix magma and water, producing deadly ash plumes and surges. Recent activity includes steam plumes rising thousands of feet and sulfur dioxide emissions in the tons per day. The island's multiple craters and proximity to millions of people heighten risks. Mount Cook, New Zealand. Mount Cook reaches 12,218 feet in New Zealand's Southern Alps within Mount Cook National Park. It towers above 22 surrounding peaks over 10,000 feet, flanked by the vast Tasman and Huka glaciers. Glaciers cover about 40% of the park's rugged terrain. The Maori name Aoraki means cloud piercer, reflecting its often shrouded summit. First summited in 1894, it trained Sir Edmund Hillary before Everest. The area forms part of a dark sky reserve with stunning night views. Mount Cook embodies raw alpine grandeur and the enduring call of high places. Dara, Turkey. Byzantine constructed an underground city to outlast sieges and empires. Dara, founded in 507 AD by Emperor Anastasius as a Roman frontier fortress against Persia, housed tens of thousands. Engineers carved vast underground complexes up to 130 feet deep, including cisterns, tunnels, and storage halls. A clever aqueduct diverted a river through the city while denying water to attackers. Rock-cut structures feature churches, baths, and military quarters across a sprawling site. The city endured battles, including the famous 530 AD clash. Dara reveals Byzantine ingenuity in turning stone into a resilient hidden stronghold. Our planet holds secrets that defy imagination, places where nature bends the rules of what we believe is possible. If exploring the strangest, most breathtaking locations on our planet captivates you, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss the next mind-blowing destination. Thank you for joining this journey through the impossible world. See you in the next adventure. Daintree Rainforest, Australia. Daintree Rainforest is an ancient jungle that feels frozen in time, where life's origins thrive. Daintree, aged 180 million years, is a living relic of Earth's past. Spanning thousands of acres, its 130-foot-tall canopy shelters cassowaries, vibrant birds with dinosaur-like features. Crystal rivers flow to white sand beaches, blending jungle with coast. Indigenous Kuku-Yalanji people use plants for medicine, sharing ancient knowledge. At night, glowing fungi light the forest floor, creating an eerie glow. Kakadu National Park, Australia. Kakadu National Park is a living showcase of nature's cycles and ancient wisdom. Kakadu, spanning 7,722 square miles in Australia's north, is a vibrant tapestry of seasons. Its wetlands, shrinking in the dry season, host crocodiles and millions of migratory birds. Ancient rock art, some of which dates back over 20,000 years, decorates cliffs, reflecting indigenous stories. Waterfalls, some 300 feet high, roar during the wet season, transforming the landscape. Controlled fires help regenerate the ecosystem, a practice rooted in Aboriginal tradition. Diamond Beach, Iceland. Diamond Beach along Iceland's south coast is a wild mix of fire and ice. Black volcanic sand formed from cooled lava contrasts with ice chunks from the Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon, some up to 10 feet wide, look like giant diamonds on the black sand. In winter, the northern lights occasionally illuminate the sky with green hues visible on clear nights. Seals frequent the nearby waters, adding life to the scene. The ice melts and shifts, with tides constantly reshaping the beach. This is a wild natural scene of Iceland's extremes. Underwater waterfall, Mauritius. Off Mauritius's coast, the underwater waterfall is the coolest trick of the ocean. Sand and silt flow down a 13,000-foot ocean shelf, resembling a waterfall from above. Coral reefs home to colorful fish surround the turquoise waters. The phenomenon stems from a volcanic plateau formed 8 million years ago. Boats offer views of this unique feature, often with dolphins nearby. This illusion is a rare trick of the sea's depths. Kawah Ijen, Indonesia. Kawah Ijen in East Java is a crazy mix of acid lake and blue fire. Its 656-foot deep crater holds a turquoise acid lake, one of the world's largest, with a pH near battery acid. At night, blue flames from burning sulfur reaching 112 degrees flow like ghostly rivers. Miners carry up to 198 pounds of sulfur daily, a grueling tradition tied to local survival. The nearby Karo Festival honors the volcano's power.
Power of the mountain, hear our voices. Accept our offering. Watch over us.
Kawah Ijen is a stark blend of beauty and human resilience. Lake Miki, Turkey. A 625-foot wide crater lake holds a 160-foot island with a smaller salty lake inside a unique nested formation. Red hues from microorganisms contrast with white salt crystals, visible after 99% of the water vanished since 2014 due to drought. The lake formed from eruptions 4 million years apart. Local stories call it the Eye of the Earth, reflecting its striking look. Lake Mae Ya is a rare spot that's slowly disappearing. The surrounding jungle, visible from the summit, teems with birds and plants. Hierve el Agua, Mexico. At 500-600 feet in Oaxaca, Hierve el Agua is a natural wonder of stone and water. Mineral-rich springs have formed petrified waterfalls stretching 164 feet over thousands of years. Shallow turquoise pools atop the cliffs contain calcium and magnesium used locally for their soothing properties. The limestone grows slowly at about 0.4 inches per year, creating a unique geological record. Revered by local communities, this site feels like a tranquil shrine. Here, Marble Caves, Chile. In Patagonia's Lake General Carrera, the Marble Caves are a cool piece of nature's art. Marble walls, smoothed by glacial waves over thousands of years, reflect turquoise light. The caves, reachable only by boat, sit in waters averaging 50 degrees suns from glacial melt. Subtle color shifts occur with changing water levels, creating varied patterns. These formations are part of a remote, pristine lake system. The marble caves are a quiet marvel of erosion's touch. Andes, South America. The Andes, spanning 400 to 300 miles across South America, are a giant mountain wall. Peaks reach 22,837 feet at Aconcagua, with active volcanoes shaping the range. Andean condors, with wingspans up to 10 feet, soar over rugged valleys. Ancient Inca trails used for centuries remain walkable today. The range supports unique plants like the quinoa crop, vital to local diets. The Andes stand as a pillar of Earth's history and life. Kelimutu volcano, Indonesia. Kelimutu volcano on Indonesia's Flores Island is a weird natural mystery. Three crater lakes at 377 feet shift, colors blue-green or brown due to mineral reactions with volcanic gases. The lakes are depicted on Indonesia's 5,000 rupiah note, a nod to their cultural weight. The surrounding jungle, visible from the summit, teems with birds and plants. Local traditions tie the lakes to ancestral spirits. Kelimutu offers a window into nature's dynamic chemistry. Sahara Desert, North Africa. The Sahara Desert, covering 3 million square miles, is an endless desert you have to be tough to live in. Towering dunes, some 600 feet high, shift with the wind, shaping an ever-changing landscape. Green oases fed by underground springs support date palms and desert foxes. Ancient rock art dating back 7,000 years tells of a once lush Sahara. Nomadic cultures with traditions like camel caravans thrive in this harsh expanse. The Sahara is a timeless stage of endurance and history. Coron, Philippines. Coron in the Palawan province is a tropical island full of old shipwrecks. Limestone casts rising 1,000 feet from turquoise seas frame pristine lakes and beaches. World War II shipwrecks, now coral-encrusted reefs, host fish and divers in the Coral Triangle. Kayangan Lake, with its mix of fresh and salt water, creates unique swimming layers. Tagbanua traditions, including fishing dances, tie the island to its ancient roots. Coron is a vibrant archive of nature and history beneath the waves. Sigiriya Rock, Sri Lanka. Sigiriya Rock is an ancient fortress steeped in legend. This 590-foot granite monolith, topped by a 5th century palace, was built by King Kashyapa after a dramatic rise to power. Colorful frescoes of celestial nymphs adorn its cliffs, showcasing ancient artistry. A lion-shaped gate carved into the rock guards the ascent to sweeping jungle views. Monkeys and birds thrive in the surrounding forests, blending nature with history. Sigiriya is a bold testament to human ambition and natural grandeur. Geyser Lake, Russia. Geyser Lake is a small but striking echo of Earth's hidden forces. Tucked in Siberia's Altai Mountains, Geyser Lake is a secret bright lake. This 98-foot-wide lake, just 6 feet deep, glows bright blue with clay patterns shaped by underground springs that never freeze. Its vibrant hue, caused by mineral deposits, contrasts with surrounding pine forests. Likely formed after a 2003 earthquake, it gained fame through viral photos in 2010. Local legends speak of its otherworldly beauty, drawing photographers to its shores. Azores, Portugal. The Azores, 900 miles from Portugal in the Atlantic, are a lush, volcanic archipelago. Nine islands feature peaks like Mount Pico at 7,713 feet, shaped by ancient volcanic activity. The region grows Europe's only tea plantations, thriving on fertile soil. Geothermal springs, warmed by the earth, offer warm pools for soaking. Whales, including humpbacks, migrate through the surrounding waters, often spotted by visitors. The Azores are a serene outpost of nature's vitality. Fjallajökull Canyon, Iceland. Fjallajökull Canyon in Iceland is a quiet, deep canyon. Stretching 1 mile long and 330 feet deep, its basalt walls are draped in green moss, shaped by a river over 2 million years. A hiking trail along the rim offers views of waterfalls cascading below. Icelandic tales link the canyon to ancient spirits, adding a layer of folklore. In winter, the northern lights may flicker above, enhancing its quiet beauty. This canyon is a tranquil chapter in Iceland's rugged story. Hierve, Cano Cristales, Colombia. In Sierra de la Macarena, Cano Cristales is a vibrant river of colors. Known as the River of Five Colors, its waters shimmer with red, yellow, green, and blue hues from Macarenia clavigeria plants, most vivid from July to October. Stretching 62 miles, the river flows over rocks 1-2 billion years old, forming small waterfalls and pools. Ancient indigenous carvings near the banks hint at a rich cultural past. The surrounding plains burst with wildlife, like birds and insects during the wet season. This river is a living canvas of nature's palette. Arches National Park, United States. Arches National Park in Utah shows what nature can do over millions of years. This park is a desert sculpted by time. Over 2,000 natural stone arches, some 100 feet tall, were shaped by wind and water over millions of years. The park's rock layers, up to 300 million years old, reveal Earth's ancient past. Clear nights offer exceptional stargazing, with thousands of stars visible. Desert plants like yucca thrive in the arid landscape, adding sparse green to the red rock. Tumpak Sewu waterfall, Indonesia. Tumpak Sewu in Java, Indonesia, is a powerful cascade known as the Thousand Waterfalls. Dozens of streams drop 400 feet over a wide cliff, creating a misty curtain. A nearby volcano, about 12,000 feet high, adds a dramatic backdrop with occasional ash plumes. The hike to the base through steep jungle paths draws adventurous visitors. Locals view the falls as a symbol of strength rooted in cultural stories. Tumpak Sewu is a bold display of nature's force. Kelingking Beach, Indonesia. On Nusa Penida, Kelingking Beach, has an insane cliff and beach view. A 650-foot limestone cliff shaped like a T-Rex head plunges into turquoise waters below. The steep trail to the white sand beach challenges even seasoned hikers, offering stunning views. Manta rays, up to 23 feet wide, swim in the surrounding coral-rich seas, a diver's delight. Local Balinese rituals honor the ocean, tying the beach to spiritual traditions. Kelingking is a bold stroke of nature's daring design.